What's going on, guys? JSGC here, back again for another daily Manchester City transfer update. Before I do crack on with today's update, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, then do subscribe. I'm going to keep you guys up to date here on YouTube every single day with all the latest City transfer news. So do subscribe. It is free. Social media links are in the description if you want to go and follow me on my X, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships or any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget as well to leave a thumbs up on the video. We are aiming for 400 likes, and do let me know your thoughts as well in the comments below. So we've got no contract news, so we're going to dive straight on in with the outs, and we've got the latest on Kyle Walker, which we were speaking about in yesterday's transfer update, and Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that Everton and David Moyes are interested in signing Kyle Walker from Manchester City this summer, and this interest is legitimate. He says that Everton have let Manchester City know that they are interested and they want to be kept informed on developments with other clubs such as Fenerbahce, also interested in signing Kyle Walker this summer. And I do believe that a lot of the interest is coming from David Moyes' side of the deal. I don't think Everton, in terms of their top chiefs, are overly that keen on signing Kyle Walker, and that's been echoed, pun intended, by Liverpool Echo, who said that Everton's interest is just that, it's interest. Kyle Walker isn't a priority for Everton right now, and Everton are a bit hesitant when it comes to this deal on Kyle Walker. I presume that's due to off-field antics along with his age. He's 35 years old. There's no sell-on value here if they do bring Kyle Walker in, but David Moyes does rate Kyle Walker and definitely an option for Everton if they choose to make a move. They have already identified several players that are looking to add to their squad, and they have had a good look at that right-back position, and Kyle Walker's one of a few players that Everton are looking at. So it's interest right now. No offers are in, but they are being kept up to date. Everton are a bit hesitant on this, but David Moyes is keen on Kyle Walker. It's pretty much the summary there. So moving on, we've got the very latest on Jack Grealish. Again, we will speak about him in yesterday's transfer update, and the Sun have said that Napoli are prepared to spend £45 million to bring Jack Grealish in this summer. Now, they have been heavily linked with a move for Alejandro Garnacho from Manchester United, and as he's 20 years old, Napoli regard him as having a fantastic sell-on value. The problem is Napoli are keen on spending around £45 to £50 million on bringing a player in from the Premier League. They're not so keen on Manchester United's asking price, which has been set at £70 million, and Napoli regard that as not affordable, and they can't get near that price, which is why they're having a good look at Jack Grealish instead. They believe that they'll be able to pick him up for less than £50 million. They believe £45 million could be the number that they're looking at, but they would need some help on his wages. Manchester City have been asked for the remaining 2 years left on his Manchester City contract to pay half of his wage. It's believed that he's on around £300,000 a week, so we're looking at £150,000 a week contribution from Manchester City for 2 years until the end of Jack Grealish's contract at Manchester City, and that works out at a total of £15.6 million invested by Manchester City. And I imagine City would be using part of the transfer fee here that they receive for Jack Grealish. So let's say Napoli put in a bid of £45 million, and that's a flat £45 million fee, and Manchester City accepts that, then £15.6 million of that would go towards contributing to the wage of Jack Grealish. So we'd be getting just under £30 million, which, if this deal doesn't include any bonuses or clauses or anything, it would see Jack Grealish get off our books, which may plausibly make a transfer possible, but I'm not entirely sure about this, if I'm being completely honest. I know Napoli have been linked with a move for Jadon Sancho. They've been linked with a move, obviously, with Garnacho. Jack Grealish is out there as with his name being mentioned, with Napoli being interested. Napoli interested in Darwin Nunez as well. So there's clearly a lot of Premier League players that Napoli are interested in bringing in, and there's the potential that they may be able to bring players in on loan. I wouldn't rule out Liverpool or Manchester United accepting loan bids as long as they get a good loan fee, and a lot of the wages contributed towards the likes of Jadon Sancho at United and also Darwin Nunez at Liverpool. So if that is the case, then why do they need to spend £45 million on a player when you can bring them in on loan, and there's no guarantee that you have to leave or depart with the money, considering Napoli are already heavily invested in their squad this summer. So this transfer, whilst numbers have been crunched, is far from certain. There is definite interest from Napoli, but as I was speaking about in yesterday's transfer update, Jack Grealish needs to have a good, long, hard think about what does he want to achieve. Is he going to lower his wage? If he's not going to lower his wage, he's going to have to consider making a move to Saudi Arabia, because realistically, if it's money that Jack Grealish is after, they're the teams that can afford to bring Jack Grealish in this summer. Everybody else, whether it be the Premier League or another team in Europe, it's just not going to happen, and it's a bit of a stumbling block. It's a brick wall. Kyle Walker's faced that brick wall. AC Milan interested in a loan, but not interested in signing him permanently, and it'll be the same with Jack Grealish here. Napoli might be interested. I can't see them spending £45 million on him. They might be more keen on a loan. There'll be an option to buy. They won't take up that option to buy, and here we are in a year's time dealing with the same problem. So it's up to Manchester City. If they want to get rid of these players, they've got to be doing more in terms of the player sales. And I did say at the start of this window, I'm not just going to be judging Hugo Viana on his ability to bring players in. He's already proved that in the January transfer window. He's good at it, and he's proved it already in the summer transfer window. He's able to get quick deals over the line. He worked really hard from that aspect. How good is he at getting rid of players who don't want to be here, who Man City are struggling to sell and find clubs for? Because at the moment, we've got this homegrown problem. Kyle Walker, Jack Grealish, Calvin Phillips, these players, they're still here, and we're struggling to find new clubs for these players. And if we can't find new clubs for these players, then it stops us from investing in our own squad and bringing new players in this summer when we need to transition. We need fresh blood. We need new ideas. So, yeah, something really interesting for Hugo Viana and Chicky, who are both in charge at Manchester City, to try and think about and sort out. Now, moving on to the ins, we've had a quick line on Tino Livramento, the 22-year-old English fullback from Newcastle United, and TBR Football. I've not dealt with them all that much, so I'm not too sure on how credible their sources and information are. Whenever I'm dealing with a source that I've not really dealt with, I always just say exercise with caution. However, what they're reporting on is very interesting, so I thought it's worthwhile mentioning on my transfer update. So TBR Football have said that Manchester City are willing to test the water with Newcastle to try and tempt them to sell Tino Livramento to them this summer. Manchester City want to make an opening bid to Newcastle. They're talking £40 million, which is obviously well below his value. I've heard numbers mentioned of between 70 and 80 million pounds, so we're looking at half that amount. Their bid will obviously be rejected if it does go in, but I think Manchester City just wanted to try a new tactic rather than speaking with the player and seeing if the player's interested in the move and stuff. If Man City have identified Livramento as the player that they're looking at, then they may be taking a different approach, which to me suggesting Hugo Viana rather than Chicky, because Chicky doesn't really do transfers like this and going in with bids and bids being rejected. Chicky likes to be clinical. He likes to do all the background checks, likes to do all the running before things get official and formal, whereas Hugo Viana likes to really go in nice and direct with his talks, and he wants to go in with a bid, and the point of him going in with the bid would be to let Newcastle know that Manchester City are very serious about signing Tino Livramento this summer, but also to let Tino Livramento know that Manchester City are very interested in bringing him in, and going in with an official offer therefore makes everything official. It's not just talks and hearsay and some exchanges and messages and this being said and that being said. It's very much out there. It's very much a formal bid to let both Livramento and Newcastle United know that Manchester City are interested in signing him this summer and are serious about it and are already wanting to make a bid. £40 million, it's well below value. It will be rejected. Newcastle probably won't even entertain the offer. It'll just be immediately rejected. Probably won't even put any notes on that. It'll just be immediately rejected. But it's Manchester City just testing that water. Interestingly, TBR Football do say that Hugo Viana is the man that's really keen on Tino Livramento, and he's the one pushing hard right now to try and make this transfer happen. A very difficult transfer to happen, yes. Do I see it happening? No, but it doesn't mean you can't be one for trying, and that's maybe what Hugo Viana is looking for here, going with a different approach to see if it is successful to bring Tino Livramento into Manchester City. Manchester City very much not done in the summer transfer window when it comes to new contracts, outs and ins as well, but if it is to be ins right now with not many non-homegrown players being linked with the exit door, if we do want to bring players in and fresh energy and fresh ideas, if they're not going to be under the age of 21, then it's got to be homegrown, and that's what we're looking at here with Tino Livramento. City have said a lot of cash not going for Florian Wirtz and addressing other areas of their squad. They've got the cash there, so if they do want to make it happen, they put the bid in and all of a sudden Livramento's head gets turned and he does want that move, then this transfer can become realistic. I don't think it'll happen, but it could become realistic. I'd love to know your thoughts though, guys, in the comments below. That would be much appreciated. Don't forget as well to leave a thumbs up on the video. We're aiming for 400 likes. Any help towards that would be much appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe as well if you're new around here. It is free to subscribe. I'm going to keep you guys up to date every single day with all the latest City transfer news here on YouTube. So if you haven't already, do subscribe. It is free. And social media links, they're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my X, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. And I'll see you all again religiously tomorrow for the next daily Manchester City transfer update. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.